Today I'm going to show you how I meal prepped on Sunday to make sure that I eat enough all week on Zepbound. People oftentimes think when you're on a GLP-1, the weight just falls off. But the truth is, it's often slow. You have to do all the work. And to make matters worse, you can sabotage your results and your health by eating too little. When Zepbound is doing its thing for me, the appetite suppression is real. And meal prepping is what is really helping me stay in a healthy calorie deficit so I can lose weight without slipping into malnutrition. So let's look at how I meal prepped. When I started out about 8 or 9 months ago on a GLP-1, I was so good about tracking everything, doing meal prep. I was just on it, I was just like really data driven. And it turns out that's actually what works for me, but I got kind of complacent after a while and I was like, oh, I know how to eat and I know what to make. But I got a wake-up call a few weeks ago when I did a what I eat in a day video for this channel and realized that I was not getting quite enough calories, less than my dietitian recommended. She recommended I get around 1,700 a day and I was falling about 100 calories short on that day that I did the what I eat in a day. But I know that that means I probably fall even shorter than that on other days because there are days that I skip a meal by accident because I forget to eat. So I really don't want to miss key nutrients over a long period of time. It'd be different if it was just like a quick little diet, but this is a whole lifestyle change. So that can really accumulate over time to nutrient deficiencies. And I don't want to do that. I also want to meet my body's energy needs because I'm exercising, I'm lifting weights regularly. Right now I'm walking. Do you know about my walking challenge? Oh my God, I just went off on such a tangent about the walking challenge. I'll put a link in the description if you want to learn more. Back to our regular programming. So I realized a few weeks ago that I need to start meal prepping again. So I have, and I want to show you what I did for this week because it's not like I have every meal all ready to go, 3 meals a day for 7 days. I don't need that level of meal prep. And I know it's going to vary for everyone. So I did what I know works for me. And that's making sure I have a healthy, hearty lunch, because that's a meal that I can easily just work through. And making sure that I have the ingredients. I don't have to prep them, but the ingredients for my breakfast handy, because if I know they're there, it's really easy. And then my dinners, I didn't do any meal prep except to make sure that I had the kind of groceries on hand that would lend itself to making fast, easy, healthy dinners. I've talked about this before, but in case you're new here, here's my daily nutrition goals real quick. 100 or more grams of protein, 25 to 35 grams of fiber, around 1,700 calories on average. And I just want to make sure that I eat a lot of unprocessed food, like fruits and vegetables. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Bobby. I'm a therapist and an artist, and I'm documenting my GLP-1 weight loss journey here on YouTube. I am not a medical doctor, and I'm not your therapist, so none of this is medical advice. Everything I share is from my personal experience and for educational purposes only. Always talk to your own healthcare providers when you're making decisions for yourself. Okay, so let's see how meal prepping helped me with these nutritional goals every day. I showed you in a recent episode how I do a protein coffee in the morning. A carton of ON just goes into cold coffee. It's either cold brew or something that I brew up hot and just put ice in. I won't spend a lot of time on it here except to say that I get 200 calories, 32 grams of protein, and 5 or 6 grams of fiber towards my goals for the day with this protein coffee. And then an hour or two after my protein coffee, I do breakfast. So I'm in a big smoothie mood this week, but I don't really need to meal prep those because they're easy to make. I just have to make sure I have the ingredients that I've shopped for them. So I just added a cup of Greek yogurt, and now I found just a little bit of lemon juice really helps the flavor. Everything just tastes a little brighter. And I've also found that adding just about a teaspoon of ginger also kind of brightens up the flavors. You don't really taste the ginger so much, but everything just tastes better. I've tried it without it and it's just not as good. It's funny. Then I put in some non-dairy milk. I usually use oat milk, but for some reason I had Trader Joe's almond milk in the pantry, so I'm using that up. Then I add protein powder. I've been using Aloha brand vanilla protein powder for so many years. And instead of putting 2 scoops in, which is the serving, I just put 1 scoop in because I like the texture better when there's just half a serving of that and then 2 tablespoons of peanut butter powder. So that's what I'm putting in now. And that also has a lot of protein in it. The Aloha was recommended to me by my stepdaughter when she was an undergraduate, and she's in her 30s now, so it was a long time ago I started using that. So now I add frozen fruit, and I almost always add these wild blueberries, about a cup of them, in fact. And I also usually use just strawberries, but I was out, and so this day I used some mixed fruit that I had in the freezer. Things are getting pretty full because I'm using the smaller blending jar for the Blendtec, but it'll work out. And then I usually add frozen spinach, but this spinach was fresh because I was using the rest of it for something else. So here I'm kind of cramming everything down, but I know this blender is a real workhorse, so I'm not too worried about getting everything blended smoothly. The reason I'm turning that top is because it has these arms that go down like scrapers, and so you can scrape the ingredients while it's blending. So here's a close-up of the ingredients that I used. Including the fruit and the spinach. And here it is. This is the consistency I like. If you like it thicker, you can just add less milk. Oops, almost a perfect pour. Nothing to see here. So that's what I'm having for breakfast this week. And after I got done making that smoothie, which was today's breakfast, I went right to prepping for my lunches for the week. And I was going to do salad jars, and I got all the ingredients for salad jars, and then I realized that I'm feeling a little bit more like warm meals. And so I just pivoted, and using all the same ingredients, I'm turning them into bowls that I'll still store in mason jars, but I can microwave them and eat them warm. The first thing I'm doing is chopping up a sweet potato to roast it in the oven, and then it can just roast while I'm doing all of the other parts of the meal prep. I'm spraying them with olive oil, and this sprayer, oh my gosh, I bought it from an actual like Weight Watcher store when I used to go to Weight Watcher meetings like, I don't know, 8 years ago. And it is the only oil sprayer I've ever had that has stood the test of time. I've even bought those fancy ones that are all vacuum pressure and stuff, and they always would clog up or break. And this little like Weight Watcher $5 gizmo has just, you know, been amazing. So there's my sweet potatoes. I'll just stick those in the oven, and then you'll see me move over to the stovetop. Oops, I lied. I have more vegetables to chop. So yeah, I'm chopping up a yellow bell pepper, an onion, and a zucchini, and you will see what I do with those over on the stovetop. So I'm going to cook about a half a cup of farro, and so that'll be about a quarter cup serving for 4 lunches. And farro, if you're not familiar with it, is a grain that's kind of like barley and rice. It takes about 25 minutes to cook. It's really high in fiber. I really like it, and so I'm adding it to my bowls this week. And then I'm also heating some olive oil on the stove because I'm going to saute that onion. So the onions look cooked, and I think the farro isn't quite done yet, so I'll leave that to still simmer some more. Over here you can see the first layer of my lunch and the veggies that are waiting to get sauteed. The sweet potatoes are coming along nicely. Everything's kind of in full swing. So next I'm going to saute up the spinach real quick. Really doesn't take much time, and that whole container of spinach that you saw, I grabbed a handful to put in the smoothie earlier. I'm gonna saute up the rest of it for these bowls. And I'm not gonna show you the whole process, but it cooks down really quickly. Here it is when I'm done with it. So just real quick, I'm sauteing up the bell pepper and zucchini while I'm dividing up the onion and the spinach into the containers on top of the chickpeas. Gonna check on the farro and see that it's done so I can also layer that on top of the jar. So I'm just building my meals layer by layer. So the peppers and zucchini are done. I'm going to go ahead and layer those into the jars too. And then I just have the protein to cook. And you really can make any protein you want. I happen to have some ground turkey on hand, so I'm gonna brown that. But it's really dealer's choice. Now the turkey's done and I'm ready to layer in the sweet potatoes on the turkey, and then I will be done. And here they are, ready to go in the fridge. If you're wondering where the spice or seasoning is, that's actually something that I use dressings or sauces for, and I have bottled sauces and dressings, so every day I can just kind of pick which flavoring I'm in the mood for to put on the ingredients. So it's a lot of ingredients, but what it boils down to is a 479 calorie lunch plus whatever sauce I put on it, which is usually about another 120 calories. And then 33 grams of protein and 11 grams of fiber. What this does is it leaves me really well positioned at dinner time to basically eat whatever I want as long as it's got several hundred calories in it. I don't mean that I eat junk, but I just mean I don't have to worry so much about protein and fiber. So even if it's just like a salad with some salad dressing on it, or, some chicken and vegetables or something, I've met everything except my calorie goal, and it just makes it easier at dinner time. So I don't meal prep the dinner. If you're enjoying this video, I would be so grateful if you would hit like and think about subscribing to the channel. Hitting like is surprisingly helpful for this channel, but also for the YouTube algorithm to figure out who to show it to, who will enjoy it. So yeah, I would just really appreciate it if you hit the like button if you like this. Thanks. If you're still with me, let's just have some fun. I want to ask for some shopping advice from you guys. And I forgot to do my weigh-in, so let me do my weigh-in. And then the huge tangent that I went off on about the walking challenge that I cut out earlier, I'm gonna stick it at the end. I'm editing right now. It's late, and I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but we'll see. Bye. I love a good bargain, so I'm thinking about getting that scale that is a smart scale but has the hand bar on it, because mine, you just have your feet on it, and apparently when you also hold the bar, the electrical current can go through your whole body instead of just your lower body when coming up with all the smart scale data. So I've kind of been jonesing after one, but then also thinking, do I really want to spend the money? And now there's some kind of Prime deals going on soon with some kind of pre-sale, I don't know, but it is on sale, usually $179.99, which I don't really want to spend that on a scale. On sale for $139.99, which is still a lot for a scale. I'm on the fence. I don't know. Do you have one? Is it worth it? Should I spend money on this? I'll link it below in case you want to look at it and see if it's like even a good one, or if you have one you recommend. It's one of those things I don't really need, but it would be kind of neat to get a more accurate, like, you know what I'm talking about, those like bar things. Anyway, that's happening. The other thing is I have never taken my measurements on this whole GLP-1 weight loss journey. I just have this mental block, like I'm not even sure why, I just can't bring myself to take my measurements. I know I've shrunk. I totally know that I'm smaller, my clothes fit differently, I fit differently into airplane seats. But yeah, I just can't bring myself to take my measurements. And then I saw that this digital tape measure is also on sale. It was $29.99 and now it's $20.99. So that's, you know, $9 off. And I'm a little bit intrigued. Like, is it just novel enough to get me over whatever block I have against taking my measurements? Or is this just going to be something I spend $20 on and then it sits there? I don't know. Do you have a digital tape measure? Was it worth it? What do you think? And I'll link to this one too, because I don't know if it's, you know, any good. So for the last 2 weeks, I've weighed 186.5, and this week I weighed in at 185.7, which means I lost 0.8 pounds. And if you're new here, you might be thinking, oh, Bobby must be so disappointed. She only lost 0.8 pounds this week. But actually, if you're familiar with my journey, you know that that's a really good week for me. And I haven't added up the total yet. It's like 23, 24, 25 pounds. I don't know. It's getting close to 25 pounds lost, but it's taken me like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months. It's very slow after menopause, but I'm kind of used to it. And so I'm psyched to be down 0.8 pounds, and as long as it's moving in the right direction, I'm here for it. If you watch this on the day it's released, it will be day 5 of a 30-day walking challenge. It's just something really like low stakes that I'm doing, where I'm posting something every day where you can put in the comments if you met your step or walk goals. And I'm doing it too, and so far it's really helped. There've only been a few days so far that it's been running, but I've done my 30-minute walk every single day. And yesterday it wasn't even that easy. It was like 8:30 at night and I just got back from this family thing because it was a birthday. And I was like, I gotta walk. And I never would have done that without this challenge, but I got on my walking pad and I walked for 30 minutes. You know, it's easy when I know that I'm gonna need to be accountable and post in there that I did it. So check it out if you're interested. Hope you're having a great week. I love you. Leave me a comment. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what you think I should do about my shopping quandaries. And check in on the walking challenge. We're all doing great. We're motivating each other. I gotta get this one in the bag. I'm supposed to publish it on Tuesday. It's Monday night. It's like after 10 o'clock. I want to get some sleep. So I am going to finish editing this and send it out into the interwebs so that you can watch it. Okay, bye.